Hi there. Today I'm going to be telling you about Case 4.5, Clients Telling the Truth as They Know It. This story is told from the counselor Brian Waller's point of view. Throughout the case, you'll only see his side of the story. Like most people, first impressions influence his judgment and actions. Some people tell lies to give other people a false picture of who they really are, and this was the case with Juan. Waller's first impressions of Juan are that he is a very well put together, controlled, calm, well-mannered, and professional young man. However, Juan is ordered to do counseling by the Department of Child and Family Services because he is having issues with custody of his children. Juan feels his wife's family is to blame, but he will do whatever it takes to get his family back. The counseling sessions started out great. Juan was cooperative with Waller at first. He answered all of his questions. He denied being inappropriate with his daughters, but he did admit to whooping them for misbehaving because his wife was a pushover. He also talked about his strict budget because he grew up in a house of alcoholics and he did not come from a stable and disciplined home. Waller thought the counseling was going so well he began to explore the triggers that stem from Juan's upbringing. Everything is going great until Waller finds out Juan goes to his supervisor with complaints. Juan complained that Waller was being too hard on him, pushy, and he wasn't happy with the progress. Waller was shocked. He wondered why. He felt like the relationship was fine. They were just starting to build trust. Juan was progressing. He decides to keep counseling and building the relationship. He wants to see if he can uncover what the problem is and maybe help Juan. In my opinion, this is where Waller started to go wrong. I feel like he should have referred him to a different counselor whenever there became an issue. But he chooses not to. He chooses to continue the relationship. Waller is baffled. He can't understand where it went wrong. He thought he was doing everything right. Juan was resistant to open up at first, but so were other clients. Juan's odd behavior caused Waller to take a deeper look into his case. He started to read the Division of Child Family Services report and found out that Waller was not just accused of domestic issues or problems in his relationship with his wife, but he was accused of being sexually inappropriate with his daughters. Waller did not expect this. Juan was a professional. He was similar to him. He was someone he could relate to, he thought. Waller feels tricked. He feels like it's time for a new approach. The old approach, it's not working. Waller's first approach was about building trust and letting the client explore their thoughts and feelings. It was more of a casual, friendly approach. Waller's new approach is more direct and confrontational. He is now in control of the conversation and is prying harder into the underlying issue by assigning work outside of the counseling session. With Waller's new confrontational approach, he confronts Juan about why he went to his supervisors when there was a problem in the counseling sessions. Juan denied that there was a problem. He said that the process was just taking too long. Juan pushed to have the case resolved faster, so Waller pushed about the sexual misconduct with his daughter. Of course, Juan denies all of the allegations and again blames the wife's family, says that it's all lies made up because they're jealous of his relationship with his wife. So Waller insists Juan attend meetings for sexual predators, but Juan refuses and again goes to Waller's supervisor. This time, the supervisor sides with Waller. Juan eventually stops coming to the counseling sessions, which in turn does not get him a good recommendation for his Division of Child Family Support case, and probably jeopardizes his chance of getting custody of his children back. Waller concludes the case by saying, in a counselor-client relationship, the client gets to choose what information they want to share with the counselor. But that does not mean that the counselor cannot do some digging and find some background information about the client, like Waller did in the case with Juan. It takes time to develop trust, and if a client feels open enough to share their secrets with the counselor, The counselor has to remain professional and give care regardless of how they feel about the issue. In this case, Waller's issue with Juan being a sexual predator. Looking back on the case, what are the moral issues with the case? One moral issue with this case is that they both have a different view of the professional-client relationship that they're in. The issue with the professional-client relationship is who has the authority or who is responsible to make the decision. If they both have different views of the relationship, then they both have different views on who's responsible and who has the authority to make the decisions. So there's going to be some clash. At the beginning, Waller has a contract view of the relationship. He sees them as equals. They're both equal contributors in the relationship. They're both professionals, and Waller is trying to build this professional relationship that Juan can trust him and share some of his information so that Waller can help him. However, Juan throughout the relationship has an agency view. He thinks he's in control. He chooses what he wants to share when he wants to share it. Waller is just providing a service to meet his goals. Waller's service would be writing a good recommendation to Division of Child Family Services in hopes that Juan might regain custody of his children. However, Waller finds out about Juan's alleged inappropriate conduct with his daughters, and he decides to change his view and how he behaves with his clients, or particularly this client, to a more paternalistic relationship view, where he feels like he has the authority to make the decision. After all, he is the professional, and they're not equals anymore because he does not see himself on the same level as a alleged pedophile. He decides that he's going to order Juan to go to these group meetings with other pedophiles, and Juan decides he doesn't want to go. So he decides he's not going to cooperate anymore. He's not going to keep coming to the meetings. He's not going to keep coming to the counseling sessions. The issue with this relationship, with them both having different views, is they're not going to come to the same agreement. They're not going to come to the same outcome because they both think that they have the authority to make the decision for the other. Or for, Juan, in this case. If the professional and the client do not agree on the relationship, it's not going to be a successful one.